Have you ever had one of those moments where, on paper, everything seems right? The job is secure, the bills are paid, maybe you've even got people around you who care, and yet something still feels off. You're not quite happy, not quite fulfilled. Or maybe the opposite. You've met someone who has so little by society standards. No fancy house, no big career, maybe not even consistent comfort. And somehow, they're radiating joy, peaceful, grateful, alive. What's going on there? What separates these two experiences? Is it luck, personality, destiny? Or is it something deeper? That's exactly what this video is about. Mindset, the invisible filter through which you experience every part of your life. Your thoughts shape your emotions, your behavior, and even your sense of purpose. And more often than not, it's not your circumstances that create your emotional world, it's your perspective on those circumstances. Quote Introduction. Dale Carnegie, one of the most influential thinkers on self-improvement and human behavior, put it like this: "It isn't what you have, or who you are, or where you are, or what you are doing that makes you happy or unhappy. It is what you think about it." Let that sink in. Purpose and what's ahead. In the next hour, we're going to explore this idea deeply. This isn't just a pep talk. It's a practical, science-backed, story-filled journey into how you can reshape your thinking, break out of negative mental loops, and start building happiness from the inside out. We'll dive into the neuroscience behind thoughts and emotions, real-life stories of transformation, the mindset traps holding you back, and simple, powerful tools to help you reset your thinking in real time. By the end, you won't just understand mindset, you'll feel its power, and you'll walk away with real, actionable ways to shift into a more joyful, resilient, and fulfilling way of living. Let's begin. The Quote Unpacked. Let's dive into what Dale Carnegie really meant when he said, "It isn't what you have, or who you are, or where you are, or what you are doing that makes you happy or unhappy. It is what you think about it." This quote turns our everyday assumptions upside down. Most of us are taught, directly or indirectly, that happiness is tied to our external circumstances: how much money we have, the job we do, the house we live in, or the people around us. But Carnegie challenges that idea at its core. He's telling us that it's not our situation that makes us happy or unhappy. It's our mindset, our thoughts about the situation that create our emotional experience. Let's break that down. Example 1. 2 people, 1 job. Imagine 2 people working the exact same job. Let's say both are baristas at a busy coffee shop. The first person wakes up dreading the day. They think, "I'm stuck here, making coffee for rude customers. I should be doing something better. This isn't where I thought I'd be in life." They move through the day feeling drained, bitter, and resentful. The second person wakes up with a different thought. "This job gives me a chance to meet people. I'm learning how to manage stress, how to multitask, and I'm saving money to pursue my next goal." Same job, same tasks, but a completely different experience because of what they think about it. Example 2. Joy amid hardship. Take an even more dramatic example. A child growing up in a war zone. Despite the horror and chaos around them, you still sometimes see moments where they laugh, play, and smile. It's a heartbreaking but powerful image because it shows the resilience of the human spirit. Even in the most extreme conditions, the mind can choose how to respond, even if only in fleeting moments. Carnegie isn't suggesting we ignore pain or pretend everything's fine. He's not saying your environment doesn't matter at all, but he's pointing out a subtle truth. The environment alone doesn't dictate our happiness. It's filtered through the lens of our perception. Reframing. The key to inner peace. This idea connects closely to the concept of reframing, the ability to look at the same situation from a different angle. For example, losing a job might seem like a disaster, but some people interpret it as the push they needed to finally chase their dreams. A breakup might feel like the end of something beautiful, but reframed, it could be the beginning of rediscovering yourself. And science backs this up. Research in positive psychology shows that our habitual thoughts, our interpretations, play a major role in long-term happiness. People who train themselves to focus on gratitude, for example, report significantly higher life satisfaction, even when circumstances stay the same. So here's the core message. It's not the facts of your life that determine your happiness. It's the story you tell yourself about those facts. You can't always control what happens to you, but you can control how you think about it. And that makes all the difference. This doesn't mean pretending bad things are good. It means choosing an interpretation that empowers you rather than imprisons you. That's what Dale Carnegie meant when he put the power of happiness back into our own hands, not in what happens to us, but in how we respond to it internally. The science behind mindset. Now that we've unpacked the meaning behind Carnegie's quote, let's explore what science tells us about how our brains process thought and emotion, and why mindset really matters. How the brain processes thought and emotion. Our brains are incredibly complex, but at a basic level, the way we think directly influences how we feel. When an event happens, our brain interprets it by running a quick internal analysis, filtering what it means, if it's good or bad, and what emotions to trigger. Neuroscience shows that the brain areas responsible for thoughts, like the prefrontal cortex, and those that generate emotions, like the amygdala, are deeply interconnected. This means what we choose to focus on, or how we interpret a situation, can dial up or down our emotional reactions. Cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, thoughts greater than feelings, greater than actions. One of the clearest frameworks connecting thoughts to emotions is cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. It's a widely used therapeutic approach that helps people understand how their thoughts influence their feelings, which then shape their actions. Here's the simple cycle: thoughts to feelings to actions. If you think, "I'm going to fail," you feel anxious or discouraged. Those feelings then affect your behavior. You might procrastinate or give up. On the other hand, if you think, "I can try my best and learn from mistakes," you feel more hopeful and motivated, which encourages proactive behavior. CBT teaches that by changing your thoughts, you can change your emotional experience and eventually your behaviors. Our brain's negative bias. It's also important to understand that our brains evolved with a strong negative bias. This means we are naturally wired to notice threats and dangers more than positive things. This bias helped our ancestors survive in hostile environments by making sure they stayed alert to risks. In today's world, however, this hardwired negativity can make us dwell on worries, failures, or setbacks, sometimes blowing things out of proportion. Our brains are like little negativity magnets, constantly scanning for problems. Positive thinking isn't denial, it's redirection. So, does this mean we should just think positive and ignore reality? Not at all. Positive thinking isn't about denying problems or pretending everything is perfect. Instead, it's about redirecting your focus. When you consciously shift your attention from what's wrong to what's working, or from obstacles to opportunities, you retrain your brain's habitual patterns. Over time, this helps counterbalance the negative bias and cultivates a more resilient and optimistic mindset. The science of gratitude, boosting dopamine and serotonin. Let's look at some fascinating research that shows just how powerful this can be. Studies on gratitude practices, like regularly writing down things you're thankful for, have demonstrated measurable changes in brain chemistry. When you express gratitude, your brain releases more dopamine and serotonin, the chemicals that regulate mood and happiness. These chemicals are the biological basis for feelings of pleasure, contentment, and well-being. By building a habit of gratitude or positive reflection, you literally rewire your brain to feel better more often. In fact, psychologists have found that gratitude can improve sleep, reduce stress, and even strengthen immune function, highlighting just how interconnected our mental outlook and physical health really are. Mindset in action, real stories. We've talked about the science behind mindset and how powerful our thoughts are in shaping our emotions. But theory is only one side of the coin. What truly brings this idea to life are the real stories of people who have faced unimaginable challenges and yet, through their mindset, transformed their lives and inspired countless others. Viktor Frankl, finding meaning in Auschwitz. One of the most profound examples comes from Viktor Frankl, an Austrian psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor. Frankl was imprisoned in Nazi concentration camps, including Auschwitz, enduring unfathomable cruelty and loss. Most people in his situation would understandably despair. But Frankl discovered something extraordinary. Through his experiences, he developed a theory that the primary human drive is the search for meaning. He realized that even in the darkest, most brutal conditions, those who found a sense of purpose, whether it was hope for reunion with loved ones, a commitment to surviving for the sake of a future goal, or simply a reason to keep going, were more likely to endure and maintain their humanity. His book, Man's Search for Meaning, teaches us that our attitude toward suffering is what shapes our experience of it. Frankl said, "Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances." This story is a powerful testament to the fact that mindset can be the difference between giving up and surviving, between despair and hope. Nick Vujicic, born without arms and legs, inspiring millions. Another remarkable example is Nick Vujicic, born without arms and legs due to a rare condition called tetra-amelia syndrome. His physical challenges could have been a lifelong barrier. Instead, Nick has chosen to embrace life with extraordinary courage and positivity. Nick is now a motivational speaker, author, and advocate who travels the world inspiring millions. He talks openly about the struggles he faced, bullying, depression, and moments of deep despair, but how shifting his mindset from victimhood to empowerment changed everything. Nick's message is simple but profound. If I fail, I try again. If I succeed, I help others. His life shows that mindset isn't about ignoring hardship, it's about facing it with a spirit that refuses to be defeated. Everyday hero, the single parent juggling 2 jobs. Now, let's bring this closer to home. You don't have to be a famous survivor or an inspirational speaker to show the power of mindset. Think about the millions of single parents around the world, working multiple jobs just to provide for their children. Their days are long, exhausting, and often thankless. Yet many of these parents still find joy and meaning in their daily lives. They celebrate small victories, like helping their child with homework or sharing a laugh over dinner. They cultivate gratitude for the little moments of peace or connection. This everyday heroism reminds us that mindset isn't reserved for extraordinary circumstances alone. It's about the everyday choices we make to focus on hope, resilience, and love amid challenges. As you reflect on these stories, ask yourself, how can I begin to shift my own mindset? What small changes in my thinking might open the door to greater happiness, resilience, and meaning in my life? Tools to shift your mindset. By now, we've explored what mindset really is, how it works in the brain, and how people from all walks of life use it to overcome adversity. But here's the most important part. Shifting your mindset isn't a mysterious gift, it's a practice. Like building a muscle, it takes repetition, awareness, and the right tools. In this section, we'll go through 5 powerful, practical tools that anyone can start using today to begin shifting their mindset. These aren't vague, feel-good habits. They're strategies backed by science, psychology, and real-world experience. 1. Journaling, gratitude, and positive reframing. Let's start with journaling. This isn't just about writing down what happened during your day, it's about processing your thoughts and reshaping how you see the world. Gratitude journaling. Each day, write down 3 to 5 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be life-changing. It could be something as simple as the smell of coffee, my child's laughter, or a friend checking in. When you train your brain to notice good things, it slowly starts shifting focus away from stress and negativity. Positive reframing. Take a challenging event and write it down. Then ask yourself, what could this teach me? Or, is there another way to view this? For example, instead of, I failed that interview, you might reframe it as, I learned what I need to work on for next time. This is a practice in rewriting the narrative, your narrative. Over time, journaling helps you identify recurring negative patterns and actively shift them toward constructive, empowering interpretations. 2. Affirming, rewiring your beliefs. Affirmations are short, powerful statements that help reshape your internal beliefs. And they work because the brain listens to repetition. Think of affirmations like planting seeds in your subconscious. When said consistently, especially with emotion and intention, they begin to take root. For example, I am capable of handling whatever comes my way. I deserve peace and happiness. My past does not define my future. It might feel awkward at first, especially if your current self-image doesn't match the affirmation, but that's the point. You're teaching your brain to believe in new possibilities. Pro tip: say affirmations out loud in front of a mirror each morning. Add a smile, add believement. The more senses involved, the deeper the impact. 3. Language shift. I have to versus I get to. Words matter. The language we use, especially with ourselves, shapes our internal experience more than we realize. One simple but powerful mindset shift is changing the phrase I have to into I get to. I have to go to work becomes I get to earn a living. I have to cook dinner becomes I get to nourish myself and my family. I have to exercise becomes I get to move my body and take care of my health. This shift turns obligation into opportunity. It moves us out of resentment and into appreciation. Try this for just one day. Catch yourself every time you say have to and reframe it. You'll be surprised how differently your day feels. 4. Mindfulness. Catching the spiral before it grows. Mindfulness is the practice of noticing your thoughts without judgment. It's like becoming an observer of your own mind. Why does this matter? Because most of the time, we don't even realize when our mindset slips into negativity. A small frustration can spiral into self-doubt, anxiety, or anger before we're even aware of it. Mindfulness helps you catch that spiral early. when it's still just a spark, not a wildfire. You don't need to sit in silence for an hour to practice mindfulness. Start small. Take 3 deep breaths and scan your body for tension. Name what you're feeling. I'm feeling anxious, or I'm caught in a worry loop. Gently redirect. This thought isn't serving me right now. Apps like Headspace, Calm, or Insight Timer can guide short meditations. Even 5 minutes a day can make a big difference in mental clarity and emotional regulation. 5. Visualization, rehearsing success and joy. Your brain doesn't always distinguish between real experience and vivid imagination. That's why visualization is such a powerful tool. Athletes have used this for decades, visualizing themselves winning races, landing perfect jumps, or scoring game-winning goals. But it's just as effective in daily life. Here's how to do it. Sit somewhere quiet. Close your eyes and vividly imagine yourself succeeding at a goal. See it, feel it, hear the sounds around you. Picture how you'll celebrate. Alternatively, visualize a joyful moment you want to create, laughing with family, walking on a beach, giving a speech with confidence. Do this regularly, and you start training your brain for the emotional state you want to live in. You're pre-programming confidence, joy, and calm. Final thoughts for this segment. None of these tools require you to be rich, famous, or have everything figured out. They're small, daily practices that anyone can begin right now. And when done consistently, they retrain your mindset toward one of strength, hope, and resilience. The real power lies in the cumulative effect. One positive thought, one reframed situation, one moment of awareness, it builds, and over time, it transforms. Common mindset traps. Even with all the tools we've discussed so far, it's still incredibly easy to slip into unhelpful patterns of thinking. Mindset isn't something you fix once and never touch again. It's an ongoing practice. And part of that practice involves recognizing the traps that quietly sabotage your sense of peace, happiness, and self-worth. Let's explore 3 of the most common mindset traps, and more importantly, how to avoid them. 1. Comparison, the thief of joy. You've probably heard the phrase, comparison is the thief of joy, but it's never been more relevant than in the age of social media. We scroll through curated highlight reels of other people's lives, vacations, success stories, perfect relationships, filtered faces, and without even realizing it, we begin to compare. They're doing better than me. She looks happier than I feel. He's further along than I am. But here's the truth. Comparison always distorts reality. You're comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's best moments. And when we compare, we often minimize our own accomplishments, our own journey, and our own joy. Comparison breeds inadequacy, envy, and self-doubt, all of which pull your mindset into negativity. Strategy, digital boundaries, and solitude. Consider a regular digital detox, a few hours, a day, or even a weekend without social media. Use that time to reconnect with your own life. Spend time in solitude, not isolation. Solitude is intentional, peaceful time alone, perfect for reflecting, recentering, and reminding yourself of what really matters to you. 2. The "when I have" trap, delaying happiness. Another common trap is something many of us fall into without noticing, the "when I have" mindset. When I have more money, I'll feel secure. When I lose 20 pounds, I'll be confident. When I get the promotion, then I'll be happy. This way of thinking places happiness on hold. It turns life into a checklist of future conditions that must be met before joy is allowed in. But what happens when you finally get that thing? The goalpost moves. Now you need more, better, faster, different. It's a mindset of chronic dissatisfaction, always chasing the next thing, never living fully in the now. Strategy: practice present moment gratitude. Start noticing what's already good in your life. Ask yourself, what would I miss if I lost it tomorrow? What do I already have today that I once wished for? Pair this with a daily gratitude ritual. Even 2 to 3 minutes in the morning can rewire your focus from lack to abundance and free you from the illusion that happiness is always somewhere else. 3. The victim mentality: giving away your power. The third trap is the victim mindset, the belief that life is happening to you, not for you. This often sounds like, "I can't catch a break. People always treat me unfairly. It's not my fault, I'm just unlucky." Now, to be clear, some people truly have endured injustice or trauma. The problem isn't acknowledging pain. The problem is when we use pain as proof that we have no control or no options. Over time, this creates a mindset that avoids responsibility, avoids risk, and avoids growth. The danger of victim mentality is that it places all the power outside of you. And when that happens, you stop believing in your ability to change, adapt, or overcome. Strategy: shift from blame to ownership. Whenever you feel powerless, ask, what part of this can I control? What's one small action I can take today to shift this? What can this teach me about myself or others? Responsibility doesn't mean self-blame. It means reclaiming your agency, choosing to become the author of your next chapter even if you didn't write the last one. Recap: escaping the traps. Let's briefly recap these mindset traps and the tools to escape them. Trap: symptom, strategy. Comparison: constant self-doubt, envy. Digital detox, solitude, gratitude. When I have: delayed joy, always waiting. Present moment gratitude, celebrate now. Victim mentality: powerlessness, external blame. Shift to ownership, find your influence zone. Final reflection: these traps are sneaky. They often come disguised as normal thoughts. But the more awareness you build, the faster you'll recognize when your mindset is drifting, and the quicker you can bring it back. Remember, your mindset is not a fixed trait. It's a daily choice. By understanding the traps and training your focus, you reclaim that choice. You begin to live from a place of inner strength, not external reaction. Real-time mindset reset practice. Now that we've explored what mindset is, how it works, and how to shift it, we're going to do something powerful. We're going to walk through a real-time mindset reset. This is your chance to put everything into action. Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. Wherever you are, sitting at home, listening in your car, or taking a walk, try to give yourself just these next few minutes to be present. If possible, find a quiet space where you can close your eyes. But if you can't, that's okay too. Just tune inward. Take a deep breath. Inhale slowly through your nose. Hold. And exhale gently through your mouth. Let's begin. Step 1. Think of a current problem. Bring to mind something that's been bothering you. It doesn't have to be something huge, just something recent or relevant. It could be a conversation that didn't go well, a goal you're struggling to reach, a moment of frustration, fear, or doubt. Let it rise without judgment. You don't have to fix it right now. Just observe it. Name it quietly in your mind. I'm struggling with, or what's weighing on me right now is. Breathe into it. Acknowledge that it's here. Step 2. Identify your current thoughts. Now ask yourself, what am I thinking about this problem? What story are you telling yourself about it? Is it, I'll never figure this out? This always happens to me. Or, I should be doing better. Be honest, don't filter, just become aware of the narrative you've been repeating in your mind. Now take a breath and say to yourself, these are just thoughts, not facts. Thoughts can be changed. Let that settle for a moment. Step 3. Reframe with gratitude or growth. Now, gently ask, what else might be true? Look at the situation through the lens of growth or gratitude. If you're facing a challenge, ask, what can I learn from this? What strength is this building in me? Is there anything about this that I can be thankful for? Even the smallest shift in perspective can open a door. For example, this setback is helping me develop patience. This conflict showed me what I truly value. I'm grateful I care enough to want a better outcome. Let one reframe emerge from within you, however simple. Hold on to it. Say it to yourself. Step 4. Visualize a peaceful or empowered outcome. Now, gently close your eyes if you haven't already. Let's take that new empowering thought and build a vision around it. Imagine yourself navigating this challenge with calm, confidence, and clarity. See yourself responding with grace. Feel the weight lifting off your shoulders. Picture yourself smiling, not because everything is perfect, but because you have shifted. Visualize the most peaceful, empowered version of you dealing with this problem from a mindset of strength, not fear. What does that version of you look like? What do they feel in their body? What decision would they make next? Let yourself feel that state. Breathe into it. Hold that image for a few more seconds. Final grounding. Now slowly bring your awareness back to the present. Take one deep breath in and exhale fully. Roll your shoulders gently, wiggle your fingers or toes, and silently affirm, I have the power to shift my perspective. I can choose thoughts that support me. I am not my circumstances, I am my mindset. Take a moment to thank yourself for showing up, for being willing to grow, and for practicing this reset. Even just a few minutes like this regularly can change the tone of your entire day. This is a practice you can return to anytime, at the start of your morning, in the middle of a tough day, or just before bed. It's your tool, your moment, your reset. Closing and call to action. As we reach the end of this journey together, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've explored in the past hour. We started with a simple but profound idea from Dale Carnegie. It isn't what you have or who you are or where you are or what you are doing that makes you happy or unhappy. It is what you think about it. This isn't just a motivational soundbite. It's a truth echoed in science, psychology, real human experience, and your own daily life, if you pause long enough to notice it. You've seen how the brain processes thought before emotion. Real people, famous and everyday heroes, have used mindset to rise above overwhelming odds. Tools like journaling, mindfulness, and visualization can shift your perspective in just minutes. And traps like comparison, Victim thinking and delayed happiness can quietly rob you of joy unless you become aware of them. And now, it's your turn. Your mindset challenge. 1 week to shift. Here's my challenge for you. For the next 7 days, keep a mindset journal. Each day, take 5 to 10 minutes to reflect on the following. What challenge did I face today? What was my default thought about it? How can I reframe it with gratitude or growth? What's one thing I can appreciate about today? You'll be amazed how even the smallest shift in thinking can lead to big emotional breakthroughs over time. How to action. If this video resonated with you, if even one sentence made you pause and reflect, then please, like the video to help it reach others. Subscribe for more deep dives on mindset, resilience, and personal growth. And in the comments, share your mindset win, big or small. Maybe you reframed a tough moment today. Maybe you caught yourself before falling into a spiral. Maybe you just took your first deep breath in days. That counts. Your story could inspire someone else who needs it right now. Final words. Remember, you don't have to wait for your life to be perfect to feel good. You don't need to achieve more, earn more, or change your circumstances before you can feel peace, confidence, or joy. You just need to change your lens. Your mindset creates your reality. Start thinking your way into joy. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, stay grounded, stay grateful, and stay growing.